So my name's Charlotte Richardson. I'm a site manager for Beaumont and Kirkland and I've worked here since 2015. You need to be quite flexible, you need to be proactive, ready to react to whatever happens. On a daily basis the job's very different. I like the variation, the not knowing what's happening, the reacting to situations before they even happen. I really enjoy that fast-paced environment. In school I was really good at art, not a great deal into academic subjects. I was good at English, not so much maths, and I still struggle a little bit with maths now. I'm quite a creative person and I enjoy expressing myself. Every day is different, so you're coming into work, although you've got a programme and a budget, I think that's what's most exciting. You don't really know what to expect, although there's a programme and a budget and you know roughly who's coming in, when and what's happening. Even little things like the weather's different faces on site, that all is really interesting. So it's an early start. You need to be at work ready for faces turning in for around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So you need to be on site really for 7 o'clock, ready to start the day, getting all your paperwork started. So the first job really be to open up the building, make sure everything's safe, there's nothing that's been damage to anything with weather overnight or with vandals coming onto sites, which can happen. And then the next job after that would be any new faces need inducting to the site, so they need to run through the site rules, where to find the canteen, where the first aid is, what hours the job works, what their job entails, so where they need to be working on site, who's the supervisor, etc. And then go from there. The most rewarding thing I would say though is watching the site go from nothing to finished building when people are actually coming in and using it. I enjoy the feeling that I've took part and helped make that. That's a good feeling. Yeah, so balancing work life is difficult. I also have a 9-year-old stepdaughter. So before I had my son, I still had to balance being at home, being a mum figure, and then being at work and being boss lady, as she calls it. So yeah, it's difficult. You need to know when to say no, and I think you get more respect for having boundaries and setting them at work. If there's a point where you need to go and it's for a reason, you need to be honest about that. If you're not honest and open, then there's no room for sort of negotiation. So things such as school plays, you do have to miss a lot of that unless you can work it in advance and use your holidays, etc. But then weekends we make sure we make the most of them, so we're always going to the beach or to the amusements. She loves that. We go walking, we'll find stones, and now obviously with the little one I'm yet to find out what it's like. I'm just about to return to work full time and I'm assuming it'll be very different. He's going to nursery and I'll only be able to pick him up or drop him off. I won't be able to do both. So the site hours just dictate that I might miss a few things, but make up for it at the weekends, definitely. I wouldn't say a lot of other women, no. I work with a few other women and the numbers are increasing since I started. So when I first started with the company, there were only really females working in the office. But then when I moved up to the northeast region of Beaumont and Kirkland, there's a project manager who works on site, who I've worked on a job with. She runs the job and I work directly underneath her as a site manager. There's a lot more faces now that are changing to females, and it's predominantly been a male environment, which I think we're slowly getting into. I think more women need to take it up. It's a really rewarding job. When I graduated, it was the job that I came into, yeah. So I've worked straight out of university into this job. So I've been here for about 4 or 5 years now. Prior to that, I didn't do anything related to construction, and I went into university wanting to work in design. But from various site visits during university, I realised I don't want to be in design at all. I want to be out there getting my hands dirty. I want to know what's happening on site and I want to see it progress from nothing all the way through to a finished product. Yeah, so probably from being 5, 6, I wanted to work in fashion. It was like my dream, and me and my sister were quite close. There's 2 years between us, and we always used to do fashion shows and make our own clothes out of bed sheets and things like that. And which is where kind of art developed, and then eventually how fashion design turned into construction site manager, I've got no idea. Probably I would say midway through high school, I realised probably fashion design market's quite saturated, it's quite difficult to get into, but also developing quite an interest in buildings, and I like the design of buildings and seeing various architecture, and realised actually architecture could be the way forward. And then that's how I ended up working towards architectural design, and then eventually here I am, site manager.